So my name is Anshul. I'm based in Silicon Valley here in Santa Clara, where Intel's global headquarters is. I'm the first principal engineer of Intel who's a non-engineer, just to give you my background. So I come from rural India uh, without any engineering degree, a first-time English learner in my entire family or a clan, first graduate in the entire clan. So I take pride in sharing that story so that people around the world can, imagine if I can do this without any engineering degree, without any great education and qualification, be here and talk to all of you guys in Ghana and everywhere else, right? Anybody else can also do it. Uh, so thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And can I share? I'm not able to share, my friend.
You
I'm
should.
not allowed to share my screen.
Oh, okay. I thought you should have the. Yes, you have 15 to 20 minutes now.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, and you can see my screen?
Yes, awesome. We can.
Awesome, thank you. And I mean, the topic which was given to me about the future careers, right? So I'm just kind of wanting to lead to that from a learnability standpoint. All of you, whatever you're doing, you may be student, you may be doing your own startups, you may be doing a job, right? But with responsible AI, where is this headed? What's coming from a future in terms of a human capital? So again, I'm not a technologist, so I'm not going into too much of a detailing on a tech side of it. If you are interested, you can ask me a question and I will do my best. But I'm a social development person, so I'm going to give you a societal point of view, especially from an education and work standpoint, right? So I run a global program called Intel Digital Readiness, which prepares digital economy with government-public-private partnership, government and academia public-private partnership, prepare a broader non-technical workforce. So it can be citizen, it can be youth, it can be vocational schools, it can be general higher education, it can be government leaders. So preparing them with responsible AI skilling and some of these other associated skillings like digital trust or cyber security. That's where my expertise is in future work, forming large scale public private partnerships. So I just want to share with you how we think the future of careers and future of work would be, right, from a human standpoint. And then I'm sure you would have a few questions or thoughts on this. One of our founder, Gordon Moore, I hope all of you know who's Gordon Moore. He's made this quote, which is very powerful, very relevant in today's time. Whatever can be done can be outdone. So the question is, if we ourselves do not disrupt ourselves, somebody else will. And more so with AI, that disruption becomes even more real. Now, AI is a collection of technology, as you all know, right? Like every single thing which humans take intelligence, eye, so computer vision, speech or listening, so natural language processing and generative AI. There is a lot more on touch, sense. So everything which human can do to collect data to build intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a capability by machine to kind of mimic those capabilities so that machines can build its own intelligence. And machines can do definitely far more faster, far more powerful, far more cheaper, right? So this quote is very important from a human development standpoint. Whatever can be done can be outdone. And if we do not outdo ourselves, somebody else will or some machine will, right? We are living in a whole exciting time, post-COVID, double disruption, as we say, right? We are living in a very different world with AI, automation, hitting us. All aspects of our life and work, you can argue, can be automated, right? It's a new superpower. And the way to think about this from a human standpoint, how do you do work, right? So uh, I hope you can see my screen. I'm explaining all the work which you do. Either we do it with hand, or we do with brain, or we do with heart, right? There are enough examples in the world that all this work can be broken into tasks, and all this task can be done by AI. Today, you will find multiple studies and research. More than 50% of the world task can be automated. Then, do we want more than 50% of the world to be jobless? No. Today, the big question is prompt engineering can help you ask question. Are you okay or happy in just prompt engineering asking question, or you should ask a better question to prompt? and then get into a solution building mindset, local innovation, local solution mindset. Do you want that, or do you want machines to just give you all the solutions, right? uh, the research on asking question is very blunt. A 3-year-old can ask probably 100 question a day, but by the time you become adult, like 17, 18, 19 age, you have 0 question a day. So from an education, learning, and the future of career, future of job standpoint, and hence future of work, future of life standpoint, with AI and prompting prepare, really having a solution mindset is one very important thing. But let's kind of go beyond that, right? It's like chessboard, doubling of change. I'm sure you know this story, right? Of that king who wanted to give a gift of rice. And I mean, as you double on the chessboard, by the time you reach to at the end, there's no rice left. So AI is like that. It's doubling very fast, right? So we have to also is changing. Workforce is changing. Work chain is changing. Now what it means, right? A, from a company standpoint, if you think about a formal work, large companies like ours and any other that has now come down to just 10 years. So if a big company like Fortune 500 companies, half of them can disappear from the list of Fortune 500 companies. So if a big company like Fortune 500 companies, half of them can disappear from the list of Fortune 500, what will happen to smaller companies? What will happen to the small and medium businesses, right? So how do we prepare again, right? Uh, Impact on career and job is huge. Earlier, we used to have like 1 or 2 careers in a 30, 40 year of work. Now you're talking of people having 5, 6 career, maybe 10, 12, 15 jobs. Gig economy and all that is coming in, right? The implication on learning, especially if you think from an institution, university, school standpoint, is huge, right? Whatever we are teaching is very high chances that within 2 to 3 years, that content gets changed or upgraded. So how do we continuously keep a pace, right? The disruption is going to be very unequal, right? And especially for those people who are not coming from privileged education background or privileged countries who are developed, who have all the unlimited resources, right? We need to start thinking about reimagining work. We do a lot of studies on this. I mean, there's one study which we do with Job of the Future, JFF analysis. You can go and read this AI ready workforce study. It kind of articulates the way AI can support humans in and disrupt in 5 different ways. Some tasks will replace, some tasks AI will displace, some tasks AI will complement, some tasks AI will augment, and some tasks AI will elevate. And that means a huge disruption. So as you can see, I mean, the disruption on women workforce, for example, is huge. Women workforce, I mean, and this is just a US data which I'm showing here. More than 50% likely that their job will need urgent. So we have to start preparing. I mean, we need to think about a new blueprint. I think the big question is, okay, what does it mean to be having a learning and intelligence? And then you have to better, right? And I do this, if I have more time, I can do this exercise with you guys, but I do this with a lot of research students and startups to think about how to configure their work. The question can be, what is unaiable? What AI will not do, which we as a leaders can do better, right? Some of the answers you will get is conflict resolution, for example, critical thinking, contextual awareness. So skills like this, what does it mean for my work, my industry, my field of study? What is unaiable? I think that's a hard question which one should ask, right? And that will give you a hope. Then we think about, okay, what kind of a new jobs, new work which come, which humans can do better than machines, right? So some of the meta skills, which we call as a fusion skill, which humans can partner with machine, AI, but do better. So you can think about 4 things. Skills which only humans can do, skills which only machines can do. But in between, right, the missing middle, skills which human can do with help of machine and skills which machines can do with help of human, right? So if you have to think like that, and then skills which humans can do with help of machine, they will require some of the skills which we are very good at, like trainer skill, sustainer skills, and I'm talking of meta skills and some of the jobs you can see, explainer skills. The careers of today and tomorrow will require and more this kind of skills which require more human with help of machine. And that's what we as an industry and a startup and the ecosystem should prioritize more and more, right? So that's where the real abilities, what are our core abilities which we should strengthen? You may be a student or you may be starting new, right? And you hear this every day, AI can build more AI, software job will transition, software jobs itself is changing, all industries are changing. And I mean, I run a whole program on that called AI for Workforce. So if you have any time or interest, I can talk about it from a preparation standpoint. But I want to give you the key abilities, the synthesis beyond tech skill of AI, the generative AI, the computer vision, the natural language processing, and all that. You have to think about the non-tech skill, the ethical skills we talked, the problem-solving skills we talked, and all that. But that's the skill set, right? We are also talking about the tool sets, right? All the devices where AI will work, data set, devices, all that. So tool sets are getting democratized. Skill set, you should build that muscle. But most important is the mindset, the abilities. So this is where we need to think a bit differently. The old days of work to learn, right? The school, college, job one, job two, and retirement. Those days are gone. Now it's continuous learning, right? Discover, experiment, create, reframe, apply, iterate. So how do we really build that muscle power in your organization, in yourself as a learning system, learning organization, right? Continuous learning. That's the key thing, continuous learning, right? Uh, Instead of thinking this as a linear progression. So again, there's a lot of research on this. More learnability, which is learning to learn, unlearn, relearn, right? Sociability, connecting human to human, really understanding each other's problems, right? Having more empathy, nurturing new relationship. And then variability, thinking out of the box, taking a learning of one solution, one industry into another industry, right? Learning from each other and applying it, variability, right? Growth mindset, as we say. So all these are the new abilities, the new mindsets, which are actually not new. We have it. It's just that now we need to start nurturing it more and more in our own mindset. So the broader competencies, right? We all talk about cybersecurity and AI, right? Absolutely, digital trust, as we say. We believe all job will eventually require more and more AI and digital skills. All job will also require green skills, right? So two extreme, green skill and digital skills. How do we bring it together? That's a new learning mindset. It requires security, digital trust. And if your country is really keen in building long-term competitiveness, then you need to also think about semiconductor, silicon skills. Because those countries who are investing on semiconductor skills are the countries which are controlling innovation economy because they are controlling infrastructure, right? That's what Intel business is, as you know, right? So these are the meta skills which I always recommend to governments and policymakers to start thinking, and similarly the civil society. I do a lot of programs around the world, especially for the youth to think problem solving, right? I want to show you some of the things that actual students do. These are young students, right? Typical 16-year-old, 18-year-old from around the world. So, for example, this one is Thailand student. They kind of created an AI model to predict and alert for heart checkup. Right? So, simple innovation done by the students to alert people to do a regular heart checkup, done by the school student. This one is by the girls in Israel to really alert and tackle cyberbullying. So simple issues like this, which can be of use, actual student doing it. You can see the Indonesia example of student creating smart stock manager, right? So on and so forth. I'll also show you this one last video of this girl from India creating a model, AI model to predict mental depression.
My name is Tina and I'm 17 years old.
Okay, I'll probably skip because I'm running out of time, I know. So last part from my side, right? I think this require a lot more diversity in the conversation. Today, the technical conversation, especially around AI, is mostly with the researchers or with the big academicians, big policymakers. I think this is a time where true demystification, true democratization is required, and hence it requires a lot more diversity. Be it women, be it people of color, be it people of other gender, irrespective of your location, ethnicity, age, gender, this requires a new conversation. And then be disruption ready, not disruption anxious. As I said, disruption will be there. How do we prepare ourselves? And the only success point here is lifelong learning, because AI will change. I mean, a lot of people have described AI right now is then AI will be, or super intelligence, whatever you call it, right? AI capabilities will increase. How do we kind of grow together? Because technology is revolutionary. People are evolutionary, right? So people preparation, that's the true leadership call. If you are a leader in your organization, or you are youth, you are students wanting to take control of your life, right? Require a new mindset of leadership, more collaboration, more commitment, more communication with your stakeholders to really build this AI ready society, AI ready workforce, to be truly prosperous and growing together with machines. Otherwise, only a few people taking benefit, the signs are bad, right? Today, I mean, there is a research which again showed that entire new wealth created in last 1 year, it can be attributed to people who know AI. You do not want a society like this. I mean, imagine in countries like Ghana or India or any other poor country, right? The wealth divide is already there, and that divide getting further augmented with AI. So that's why all of us have a huge responsibility to truly be responsible in this AI development. So there's a technical aspect of responsible AI, but the broader call to action is let us charge with human centered AI. That's more important. Keep human at the center, not technology at the center. Thank you so much.
Wow, wow, wow. Anyway, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. So in Ghana, Ministry of Education, and we are talking to really bring AI for youth, which is for school level AI learning. And we are also talking to Ministry of Higher Education for your vocational schools, bringing in AI skills over there. Not just computer science degree, but your all our other, what we call as AI for X, right? Like AI for agriculture or AI for cybersecurity or AI for sustainability. So those kind of programs. So yeah, if you are interested in knowing more, please send me an email or connect me on LinkedIn, and I will get you more details on what we are working with Ghana Ministry. But as you know, public-private partnership takes time. Government has to have infrastructure and sustained commitment. We will provide them training. We will provide them content. We will provide them examples, guidance, mentorship, and then they need to roll it out, right? So all this requires what we call as a shared responsibility, but also shared value, right? From a country standpoint, if country is serious, then country need to kind of really put leadership commitment. And I will type my email ID here so that you guys know. Or find me on LinkedIn. That's the easier one to find. Yep.
Okay,
And I see one more hand. Yep.
wonderful. So yeah, we have a couple of fans. So Lukman, Isa, if you're ready, you can unmute and we can hear from you. If you also have a question, anyone in the audience having a question, please raise your hand and I'll call you to share what you have. So let's start with Lukman. Yeah, Lukman, if you are ready, kindly unmute and share with us what you have.
Oh, for now, please, I'll hold on for now. As time goes on, I'll peep in.
Okay, okay. All right. Next, we have Jabe. So Jabe Yahuza, kindly unmute and share with us what you have.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Mr. Anshul Sonak. I actually want you to reiterate on the initial part of your story where you were saying you are the first English from your clan. I didn't quite hear that part, so can you please reiterate on it for me?
Oh, I was just telling my story that I come from rural India. I'm not an engineer, and I got a title degree in Intel as a principal engineer because of the work we do in Intel, right? I mean, we are a large engineering company and solve people problem. I mean, in my job is to really build this human capital, AI skilling for everyone, bring AI everywhere for everyone. So Intel has given me the degree or title rather, principal engineer. So I was just introducing myself. If I can do this, and I'm not even an English speaker, I didn't even learn English in my school, or I learned English and how to speak when I went into college and then in work and all that. So I'm like an average person out there in any developing countries, right? If I can do this journey and be here in Silicon Valley and talk to the world, talk to the government around AI skilling, I always tell this to everybody that you guys can do far better, right? Far more than me, right? So it's just a way to say that, hey, we need to invest on ourselves, human capital, right? Degrees do not matter, country, skin color, location, all that do not matter. What matters is your own mindset. That's my story to share, my friend.
Thank you very much. I am utterly impressed.
Wow.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Javid. Next, we have Nazir. Kindly unmute and share with us where you yes.
Hello,
Hello.
good evening, everyone. Please, my question is during the slides, the presentation, I lost connection and came back to meet a particular slide where Mr. Anshu was talking about work to learn and learn to work. I was hoping if he could
I'm,
reiterate
I'm, I'm
on
sorry.
that briefly for me. And I have a follow-up question to that.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question, Nasir. If you can repeat or type your question, that will be helpful.
Okay, I was saying that
I think we're losing Nasir.
during your presentation, I got my network cut back to meet. Yes, I came back to meet your a particular slide where at the top you're explaining work to learn and learn to work.
Right, right.
If I remember clearly, but it was
Yeah.
work to learn or yeah. So I was hoping if you could iterate briefly on what you meant by
Okay.
that.
Okay, great. So the older generation, all of you are young guys, right? But people like me who are 50 plus, okay. When we grow up, the thinking given was go to school, go to college, then start your job one, job two, and retire after 30, 40 years, right? Learn, work, retire, finish, right? That was the whole mindset on which earlier industrial revolutions were built, and hence the education system was built like that. Learn, school, college, work, retire, right? Now with AI coming up, that's gone. Now it's school, college, job, but within job, learn every day new thing. You continuous learning, lifelong learning. I mean, today with the gig economy and the way entrepreneurship is, formal jobs will shrink. So there is no career stability. You may land up doing 5, 6 careers. You may land up doing 10, 15 jobs. So learn, work, learn, right? You have to learn continuously. You are working, but you have to still learn. You have to do some degrees, you have to do some certification, you have to build new capability. Now, generative AI came in, right, last 1 year as an example. Many of us still don't know how generative AI can very quickly create, for example, if I'm an NGO, write a good proposal, quality proposal, which I can oversee. Now, I am spending 1 week to write a proposal. Generative AI can write it in 2 minutes. Now, how do I learn to use generative AI, build a proposal, and then correct it? Right? It's a new skill. Otherwise, I'm dependent in my own ways. Take 1 week to write a 5-page proposal, right? Space is becoming competitive. So that's just an example. Learn, learn has to happen continuously, right? That's the point. And that is exactly the lifelong learning mindset. And that's the true passport of success. Anybody who want to now for the next 30, 40 years think about their own job and transition in life, this is going to stay. This is not going to go away. You can't say that I have one degree from this engineering school or I know computer science and I will be able to survive for next 30-40 years. I can tell you all the speakers in the panel or all anybody in the world, if you ask them, where they invest their own personal time is actually learning new things regularly. So that's the important point. Learnability, continuous learning to learn new things. We become sometimes very complacent that, now I have a degree. Now I am, masters in engineering. I don't have to learn new things. But in today's time or time ahead, that's not going to be enough. So that's where my point is, work to learn. Work, learn has to be very continuous. I hope I'm able to explain this.